Welcome to Band Bourbon and Cigars, where we discuss marching band experiences and life situation. I am your drum major of the podcast, Mr. Reggie. We also have the rock of the podcast, Mr. Herb himself, also known as 0 to 10. And yes, my boys and girls, and yes, my ladies and gents, and yes, my beautiful people in the world, we have the Miss Fancy Flow, Miss Hula Hoop Queen herself. Hey, listen here. We have a person today on this podcast. This person graduated from Henry Ford High School out of Detroit, Michigan. Hey, Detroit, what? He then enrolled and graduated from Kentucky State University. While at Kentucky State University, he became one of the original founding fathers of the Iota Mu chapter of Kappa Psi, National Honorary Band Fraternity for college and university bands. This person is a 32nd degree Masonic Mason and potentate of Arabia Temple number 1. I give to you, but not. Listen here, when I say but not, the last drum roll, please. Mr. No.
Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today.
Afternoon. That's
Hey, thank you for the invite. Thank you for the invite.
Absolutely. Welcome, man. Hey, bro. First of all, thank you for getting on this podcast. That's an OG. This the OG of the Iota Mu chapter and everything, Mr. President himself, and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Without you, there's no me, baby. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the podcast and everything.
Yes, sir. Let me say this right quick. I'm old and I'm losing my hearing, so if I ask you guys to repeat yourself, please, hey, that's just one of the things that happen when you get old.
There you go.
Hey, that's real OG right there. That's real OG right there. For real. And we got her up in here looking like the Blues Brothers and everything from R&B singer from the 1990s.
Hey.
Go ahead, her break a little dance.
Shout out to 112. 112, if y'all listen to 112, you know how we get down 112.
There's a meeting in my...
All right.
Oh, man. Hey, you looking beautiful over there, Miss Fancy. How you doing today?
Well, thank you. I am doing well. I decided to dress down today, but I see Herb over there, extra fancy.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, I'm a grown man. I gotta be on your grown man stuff every once in a while. Can't just wear a t-shirt and jeans every day.
This is true. This is correct. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Well, Bernard, I'm going to start off with our first question. If you could impart some wisdom to your younger self, what would it be? What kinds of things would you tell your younger self?
To be more disciplined and be more focused. I guess part of the thing with me was when I left home, got to college, I just got wild. and if I could go back and tell myself that you can still do the same things you were doing, just be more focused and be more disciplined with it. Mm-hmm. But I enjoyed every experience that came from my lack of discipline and lack of focus. But my younger self, be focused, but still do the same crazy stuff you used to do when you were young.
Right.
I can definitely relate to that. I think we all could use a little bit more discipline and focus in our lives, especially in our younger years. But, we got to go bump our heads. You know how that goes, right?
Oh, yeah. If you don't bump your heads, you never learn nothing.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's all part of the growing process. I mean,
right.
I don't want to change anything I did because I probably, if I did change some of the things that I did, I probably wouldn't be on this call with you guys today or this podcast with you guys today. My life probably would have been something totally different. I know, Reggie, you put something out on Facebook last night or yesterday. What did you want to be when you were growing up? Well, I wanted to be a surgeon. But when I got to school and my lack of focus and all of that went out the door. So. But if I was focused and I wouldn't be on this podcast today, I'll probably be somewhere cutting somebody open and, you know, replacing an organ or something, you know. So
hopefully in a good way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a singer. But I started off as a music major, and lack of discipline and focus and not having the fundamentals, I got frustrated and switched gears. But Reggie, what did you want to be when you were in school?
Teacher.
Just
the first time they asked that question in the 3rd grade. What you want to be when you grow up? First time I ever heard it. Teacher. It was always teachers, man, that I was cool with, you know what I mean? And that I looked up to. So those are the ones that kind of imparted, you know, discipline in me and, you know what I'm saying, and cared and all that kind of stuff to see what my future was going to be. So for me, it was like, if I ever could make it, I want to be a teacher from day one.
What about you, Herb?
There's been some other things. There's been some other things in between there that I was like, yeah, I should try to be a. Nah, I ain't cut out for that.
Me, an actor. I always enjoyed, you know, playing different roles and wanted to be in a different role. I actually was in a couple plays and stuff in like middle school and high school and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Oh, bro, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
I didn't know that. Where your acting skills come in? So is that what
come from? Oh, you know, just being dramatic, you know, acting is about being dramatic, you know, everything big.
I remember when I was in college, I met this there's this band local to Detroit, but you guys might know them. They're called Hot Sauce. And I remember being in church with them and being a new performer and like just pretty much getting my footing with singing. And I remember one of the leaders of the band telling me to go big. Everything you do, if you do a motion with your arm, do it big, because in the audience, nobody will see if you singing and you go like this. You got to just go over the top. And so I had to become comfortable in my body to be able to do those kinds of things, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Would you guys say that you are identical?
You know, that's the same thing.
Say that again. Reggie,
no, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, do you guys think that you are identical to the person? He's messing with me, isn't he? So the question is, are you guys identical to the person you are now in relation to the person you were in college? Are you identical to who you are now versus
absolutely not?
How so? How are you different?
Life experience change you. You know, when you start going through life, the stuff that you did in college, you know, it was with college people, you know, kid stuff, you know, growing up, learning things. As you get older and mature, you know, you stop all that kid stuff. So absolutely not, because the things that I did in college is not what I'm doing now. Not even close. More laid back and chill now.
What about you, Bernard?
You know, that's a yes and a no. I still have the same, and like Herb was saying, you know, did a lot of crazy stuff, but my mentality is still there. It's just that I know how to control it. I'm not getting at perfect example. I don't know if you guys watched the fight last night. And Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a beast, one of my favorite boxers.
Yeah.
And I'm a pugilist. I like boxing. And guy was phenomenal. He had the science down. Now he had the same mindset last night, but he's just too old.
Yeah.
He couldn't execute. So the mind was still there. That mindset was still there. He just couldn't execute it. And what I'm saying is, for me, my mindset is still there. Do I want to do some of that crazy stuff I used to do? Yeah. But, you know, like, I can't do that. You can't do that no more. That's what my inner self is telling me. So the mindset is there. If I didn't still have that mindset, I wouldn't be where I am today. But I can control that mindset.
Yeah, body is slower than the brain.
Yeah.
Rich, it's on you.
when you're young, you think you're invincible. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that you can't do. You're not afraid of nothing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is true. You know what I'm saying? You're young. We were jumping off houses, jumping on dirty mattresses, jumping out of trees, having
Drinking
rock
water,
fights, having shingle fights,
All that.
having brick fights, all of that jumping. You know what I'm saying? Playing football in the street. You know what I'm saying? You get knocked down, you jump right back up. There's nothing. Even if you have a broken bone, you're like, whatever, it heals. But when you're older, you know what I'm saying, your mindset is just different. It's like, hey, I can't be down for no 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I can't be out of work now. I got to get this money to pay these bills. You know what I'm saying? So it's more than just about self now. You know what I'm saying? It's your health, it's your mindset, is family, is everybody around you as well. And so you can't do a lot of those dangerous things that you used to do. So no, totally different than what I was then. However, the mindset is still there. You know what I'm saying? You know, a tiger don't change his stripes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's still there.
Right.
We choose to bring it out. It comes out. It just don't come out as often.
That's right. You just control it. You can control it better. You're more disciplined and more focused to use that, because that's our strength. Whatever, however, because that was instilled in us probably when we were 5 years old. However, our makeup at 5 years old, that carried on until our age to today. We just know how to control it. We're more disciplined and more focused. So I'm like, shoot, if we want to jump off a roof, we're more calculated now. Now, if I do that, I'm going to break some limbs, even though I put the science behind it. Back then, yeah, we used to climb up on roofs, garage roofs, and just jump off a garage and stuff. Well, now it's more of a science to it now. And my science is don't walk your butt up on that ladder trying to jump off. So
what about you, Flo?
I'll still jump off the roof. Look, hold on. I'll still jump off the roof. You just better have one of those fireman things, big old pillows down at the bottom of it, like in the acting scene.
Well, you're a bit younger than me, so you're not gonna get hurt. Not hurt as bad.
You miss it, you won't get hurt. Ain't no escaping that.
My students when I was in the class, y'all can't knock me down. If I fall down, I might break something and might not get back up. You know,
I catch you when I get healed.
Right. I think that I'm more aware of time. And when I say that, I mean that when I was younger, I felt like I just had unlimited time to do whatever I wanted to do. Whereas now, getting closer to 50, I know that I have a little bit less time, because at this point, I don't know how much more time I have. And I still have more things I need to do. I still feel like God has more things that he needs me to do. And so I think it is forcing me to be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more focused now, because time is of the essence, if that makes sense. And so I think that's the main thing now, is just that I know that I don't know how much time I have left, and I still have things I need to do, you know. Yeah. So
how many roofs you jumped off when you was a kid, Flo?
I didn't jump off any roofs, but I did climb out of a window on the second floor of the family flats. On the second floor, we climbed out of a window onto a porch. That's the most dangerous thing I can remember doing.
No rock fights?
No
rock fights, no bricks. No wrestling in the streets.
See, my parents, we talked about this. My parents was different. My daddy is African, so his word was the law. You know, so we knew not to even try those things, you know.
See, so I know all three of y'all heard me ask that question. How many rock fights, how many brick fights, how many jumping off the roof she did. And then probably 10 episodes later, she was like, I remember one time we was throwing bricks on the bus. Yeah.
I don't recall ever throwing no bricks, though, because I didn't want to have to get in trouble for breaking nobody's windows. You know, but if it does come back to me, it may come up after a few drinks and several episodes down the line. You know, I remember this one time. It's come out, but yeah, I can't think of one right now.
Now, Flo, you talked about time. You know, that's what a lot of us do once we get older. We start worrying about time, how much time we have, and then we don't do nothing because we're like, well, I want to savor this moment because I don't want to do nothing too crazy where something might happen. I think it's the opposite way we should think. I think we should live each day as if it's our last day and enjoy life. We stop enjoying life when we get, and when I say we, I'm just speaking of people in the world, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We get to the point where we get boring. You know what I mean? And because we're trying to save that time of not getting hurt or not happening. When I just feel like, hey, enjoy life every day, this moment, enjoy the moment, and stay in that moment and stuff like that, and you'll have a funky good time.
I wish that I would have lived a lot more freer in my 20s. I was so worried about, I don't know what I was focused on, but like I look back and I don't have a lot of those exciting stories where I traveled someplace or did something on a whim with my friends. I don't have too many of those stories, and I regret not having those moments, you know. But I still got a little more time, you know. Still got a little more time to be a daredevil.
Just a little bit more time.
I mean, you was going to Vegas like every damn weekend.
That wasn't in college. I couldn't afford to go to Vegas in college. That was like 4 years ago, you know, when flights was cheap. You know, during the pandemic. I was flying to Vegas in Atlanta, 25 bucks. Yep. So, I'm thinking. So let's ask another question here. What childhood experience holds the most sentimental value to you? So take a moment and think about that one. What childhood memory holds the most sentimental value?
In reference to child at what age or what group of age?
Let's say between 10 and 15. Because at that point we should have some memories. You know, under 10 you might not remember, but 10 to 15.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I had to go back in my memory, deep in my memory banks for
flipping that Rolodex.
All of my memories are circling around band. Middle school band, high school band. Yep.
I don't know. For me, growing
up. So why he thinking I go ahead?
So what now?
He said, "Why he think he gonna go ahead?"
Nothing. Go ahead, now.
Go ahead, somebody.
You still thinking?
I'll tell you this. It wasn't at 15. It was maybe more at 16 or 17.
Okay.
I ran track at Henry Ford, and I was kind of good. And we had a track meet at Michigan State. I forget which tournament it was, but oh my God, and it's the first time I ever drank in my life. And one of the guys brought champagne, and we were drinking before the meet. Now, of course, you know, we didn't win. We were maybe middle of the pack, but I mean, I was so lit. The brothers that we were in on our team was so lit, and the coach cussed us out. I mean, he cussed us out good.
Well, you got in trouble.
But then he got a bottle of champagne too when he was sitting in there drinking with us, and from that was a pivotal, because I'm an introverted guy.
Okay.
And just knowing that, you know, because normally I would not have drank with those. I would have probably just started walking. But it's like, you know what, Bernard, go and have a good time. Because my introvertedness, my shyness stopped me from doing a lot of things around at that age. So when I did, I think that was pivotal for me. But then, like I said, when I got to K-State, well, I didn't end up at K-State first. I went to University of Indianapolis. I was track scholarship and all that good stuff. But then I was like, you know what? I need to be around my people. And good friend Zanus, you all know Zanus, because we went, man, I've known Zanus since kindergarten. And he was like, you know what, you need to come to Kentucky State. So I got to Kentucky and went to Kentucky State. But at that track meet, drinking that pink champagne and getting drunk for our meets, that was pivotal for me. That's where I opened up.
That one champagne, that was Ripple.
Yeah, hey. Yeah.
What is Ripple? Is that like beer?
I don't know. Ray Sanford used to say
It's wine. It's a wine mixed with like a beer, malt liquor type. So it'll get you right. I'll just say that.
I know the name.
I don't even think they sell it anymore. But
I remember Bad Frog. This guy we went to high school with used to drink Bad Frog all the time. I ain't gonna say his name.
Yep. And, you know, we were drinking that Boom Spawn back in high school and stuff. That's what I started off on, some Boom Spawn. Thought I was doing something. But it progressed. I'm glad I've changed my life. It progressed. It definitely did. Absolutely. And no, man, you were saying about running track and everything, that you ran track. And how did you end up getting into the marching band then?
Well, got to K-State. Now Zanus was, like I say, Zanus my best friend. Say known him since kindergarten, and got to K-State, and I was always well, let me go back. Was Thanksgiving break. Came home from Indianapolis, and then Zane got McFrazier and Paul and brought them back to Detroit because they're from Oklahoma. They went to K-State and just band dudes. So we took them over to Canada because that, before that shit, you didn't need a passport, no Patriot Act, nothing like that. Just driver's license and you good to go. So we all over in Canada. I forget the name of the club, but that's where y'all probably know the club, where everybody went from Detroit, because I think you only had to be 18 to get in the club. Yep. And we in there, met these dudes, and good dudes. Now, these clowns, and I know I'm going all over the place, but these clowns, they started playing 3-card Monte with some hustlers from Canada, from Ontario. Like, dog, don't do that. I play 3-card Monte. So these dudes, I'm watching him and got to teach. They like kids. Y'all let that kids get burned, get a whooping. So this dude, of course, you're playing 3-card Monte and you're hiding the card and stuff. So, man, they lost about $50 and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So, long story short, shoot, met these dudes. I'm like, cool with them. Get to K-State and hanging out with them the first day. And then Zane was like, hey, B, come here. Come with us. So brought us to the band room. And then at that point, they were in between band directors because, we didn't had about 3 band directors when I got to K-State. And he's like, look, I'm a band. Zanus is like, I'm a band manager. Here's my boy. I want him to be a band manager too. All right, cool. So that's how I became a band manager. But from middle school up to high school, I was playing. I played the trumpet and I played the French horn. French horn is my favorite instrument. And then I can play pretty much at that time, I can't do it now, but play all upper brass instruments. So I was familiar with the band thing. So
finally,
yep.
Finally,
no violins, no trombone, no baritones. Finally.
No baritone.
You see him plotting to himself.
Yeah. I was actually the cornet, my cornet, and then like the French horn, in middle school and part of high school. But then, like I said, I started getting into sports. But yeah, French horn is my favorite. It's my favorite instrument to play. So.
I got a question for you. So once you got to K-State, you got around the band, you became a band manager and all that kind of stuff. What was kind of one of your schedules like? What was the schedule like being around the band room at that time?
The schedule is probably the same. Band started at 4 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 4 to 6. Um, then of course around homecoming it was 4 o'clock to 12 o'clock, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. Uh, shoot, me and Zane, because there was only one drum major at the time. Drum major was a young lady, I forget her name, Darnetta. She was the drum major, and drum uniforms was all set up as corps style, which I was like, oh, okay. And then another young lady became the drum major, but shoot, 4 to 6 had to end at 6 because we had to go to the calf. Calf always closed at 7 o'clock. Didn't have none of that little McDonald's or whatever else is down there now. It was just straight cafeteria. And what was that other room behind the back? Whatever the little restaurant we had back then. I forget what they called it. But yeah, that was yeah, the grill.
Oh yeah, they changed it.
We had a grill too at UD.
The grill. So yeah, and our job as the as the band manager was we did everything that the band director couldn't do. We set up the parades, the Frankfurt parades. We were part of that. We set up the Frankfurt parades. We made sure logistically when we went out of state, or we made sure that you guys had a practice field to play on. So we were calling different high schools around the area, getting that set up. Like I say, the parade routes, especially in Frankfurt, we were talking to City of Frankfurt placement. Shoot, you name it, because since you guys have drum majors now, we did the majority of that work. And then when Barry came on board, it was me and Zanus, and we were pretty much his bodyguards and stuff. But I'm not going to get into that because we on a public forum. But we did things to help the band. I'll just put it that way, up and above to help the band. And then we got compensated. We had scholarships. Our scholarships, I ain't gonna lie, was probably more than some of the band members. When we went on trips, we got suites. And man, hey, we were living the life, man. We were having parties up in the suites. Hey, you know how we do. So yeah, I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want.
Why not?
Well, let me ask this follow-up question. I just want to get some clarity.
That's
So
transparent on here, baby.
So I had no idea that bands even had band managers. So the band managers are the people who go and set all the events up, as far as all the stuff that you don't see, the behind the scenes.
Yep.
Okay. And the drum majors, they just direct the band, and the band director is just like the overseer. He's like the parent, and maybe the drum majors are the elder sibling.
They were the overseers of the music and of or everything that you see on the field. That was the responsibility of the drum major. Everything behind that. I don't believe they have band managers now, but before that shit, me and Zane, we were kings of the band. We took care of the band.
And then my next question, I don't even know if you know the answer to this, but I'm curious as to when women were allowed to become drum majors. Like when that started, was there ever a period of time where they were restricted, or was it just whoever was eligible or whoever was qualified? And, I'm just curious about that. But
for the band manager?
No, for a drum major.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
When did women start to become drum majors? Or was there a period of time where it was strictly just men who were drum majors? I'm not even sure if you can answer that, because
no, it's It's all different in different places, right?
Okay.
So you know, so of course you had the women's movement of the 60s and things like that, but way before then there were women drum majors because the drum major part comes from out of military. It comes from the military. So that person that's in the front that's directing and that's, you know, saying it goes all the way back to the wars and things like that. That drummer and all of that kind of stuff. That's the only person that shot that didn't have a gun. You just playing the drum, right? So it doesn't matter if you male or female in a band.
Right.
It just preference of what the band director wants or something like that and things like that. So if you're qualified for it,
yeah, you have the ability.
hats off. Hats off.
I mean,
sure.
it
sure
just so
it wasn't
happened.
back then.
Yeah,
I'm sure
it just so
wasn't
happened
back
that at Kentucky State during my time is you vote for the drum major, and these young ladies were voted in as the drum majors. So
impressive.
And I mean, they did a phenomenal job. I don't even want to say that because if you're in the band, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, you in the band.
Right.
So we all play this. We all play the same. So it doesn't matter, you know. And that they got voted in. So.
And I would imagine to even be a candidate for a drum major, you have to be excellent at whatever if it was the instrument that decided you to be a candidate, whatever it was. I'm sure you had to be top tier in your
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So let's go to our next question here. What occupational goals did you have in mind during your formative years? I know you mentioned you want to be a surgeon, but aside from surgeon, medical, did you have any backup plans? Is there any other things you might have been interested in?
And no. Back then, no. My plan was I liked having a good time. So I mean, in the back of my mind, you know, that or in psychology.
Okay.
But you know, no, I was having a good time. So I wasn't even thinking about that. But you know, after I left K-State, you know what? It's time to start really thinking of what you want to do in life. So, but no, in school, man, I really didn't care. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just having a good time. Me and Zane, we had the apartment in Hickory Hills, and was, I don't know if you ever watched the movie.
Infamous apartment.
And our place was, if you ever watched the movie Weekend at Bernie's, that was because my name Bernard, my nickname is Bernie. It was Weekend at Bernie's, and that's shoot. We were me and Zane and we were drinking just about every night, and didn't have a care in the world. Hell, when we got back to, it was the fall semester. Got back in January. Me and Zane, we stayed in Young Hall. Man, we got bought our bottles of liquor before we hit the road. Man, Mr. Britton, I don't know if y'all remember Mr. Britton, dorm director. He walked in and he saw me and Zane. We had the bottles of Seagram 7. We had 2 bottles of Seagram 7. He walked in. We had it up on the heat, and he saw it. You know, man, it's not even the first day of school, and y'all in out here drinking. You know, I can put you out. Like, you know, Mr. Britton. All right, whatever. So this guy, he's like, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put you out of school. I'm not going to tell, but I need you guys to be on this alcohol awareness panel. So we did that in February. So we had at K-State in one of the auditoriums, high school kids, whatever. And me and Zanus, we got drunk before we had to go on this panel. So we sitting up on this panel, just drunk as all outdoors, talking to the kids. You shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. That's how we were.
Meanwhile, we wasted. Don't do what we do.
Oh, I didn't let them know that we were drunk right now, but yeah, we sitting up here drunk as all outdoors, telling kids, right?
You don't think nobody could tell?
They probably could, but we were at that. We didn't care. We didn't care. Yeah, we used to bring our 6-packs in the cafeteria We would sit in the back, put our 6-packs on the tables, and drink our 6-pack of Michelob Dark, and nobody
Y'all
would
was
tell.
some thugs, one y'all.
Yeah.
So your buddy Zanus,
Who gonna say so?
Yeah. No, for real. We would thugged out like that back then. So I didn't care back then. So
do you still socialize with your buddy Zanus? Y'all still hang out?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes,
I
sir.
imagine.
Yes, sir. Talked to him yesterday morning and stuff. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, ma'am. I'm sorry.
So listen,
Oh no,
they are kind of that particular apartment is kind of a reason. My other reason how I ended up at K-State. So I told y'all my story before how we get there, right? With my friend Quan went to K-State. I went to Grambling. So he's calling, man, we having such a great time here, man, blah, 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 blah. You need to come here. I get there. I come up for homecoming. Quan got a little breezy. His girl come up there and everything. So he leaves. He said, well, I'm going to drop you off over here at KK Sound House. And everything. It's at that apartment. Man, I open up that refrigerator. No shelves in there. From top to bottom. St. Ives double deuce. Filled up. I said, I'm home. This is where I want to be. Listen, it's jam packed up in that joker, man. It was real nice. Let's just put it that way. It was real nice up in that little apartment. I said, oh yeah, I'm coming here. So we got this going on, and they got Hawaiian chicks up in here. Oh yeah, I'm definitely here. I'm coming here. That's how I end up at K-State, man. Listen, we at this point of the podcast where we put some smoke in the air. We got our nice cigars and everything. This is Band Bourbon and Cigars. So today I'm smoking this Don Raphael and everything. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of shout outs before we go. I want to give a shout out to Miss Shamika. I don't know, you can't see it, but she got me this lighter a while back. See, I'm into my torches as well. Torches, if you smoke cigars, you got to have a good torch as well. This is a great torch. But nah, this is the part, man, where we ask you to tell a band story, band that is funny, sad or bound, chicka bound. When you was in a band, tell a story. Now only thing we ask is that you don't give no names unless you want to give some names. So, tell one of your band stories, man, that was real cool to the panel.
A band? Oh my God, Reggie. I mean, there's so many. Shoot, the 10-year period is over with, isn't it? For a funny story.
Well, don't say that because Diddy's he in prison right now after 10 years. So don't say anything that's going to incriminate yourself or others.
A funny story.
You ain't gotta say no names.
I don't know if it's funny or not. We were
sound like it's interested though.
Yeah.
Go for it, please.
I'll keep the.
Now, do not.
I'll keep the dirty ones. I keep the dirty ones to my. When we outside of this podcast.
No, we want to get the dirty ones. Now we know you got the dirties. We want to hear the dirties now. Let's say no name.
We were marching. We were at the practice field marching, and then it was Mr. Johnson had everyone march back to the campus. So we're all marching. Somebody came down and was like, look, when you get up to the campus, they're gonna start throwing water on y'all. So we're marching through the campus. Oh yeah. And get there, and next thing you know, like I said, somebody had ran down and told us, me and Zane, we had blocked off East Main to make sure that the band is able to cross the street, and told Mr. Johnson, he's like, all right, y'all be prepared. So we get through campus, we're marching, we come by ASB around Chandler Hall, and then dudes just started throwing water on the band. So now the band is fighting the campus and stuff. Literally, the band is fighting the campus. So me and Zane, we in there, you know, Big Zane, y'all know Big Zane. Big Zane then knocked a couple of dudes down and stuff. I didn't, socked a couple of people. And then now we're past where Kentucky Hall is. So now we're going back towards the band room. So Mr. Johnson, well, the band director at the time wanted to see me. He got one of his students, man. He pushed this dude down and he socked the dude. So me and Zane, we grabbed him like, Mr. Johnson, come on. So we finally get back in the band room. And Mr. Johnson's like, look, this is some bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he was just going off. Kentucky State, man, the band fought the student body of Kentucky State that day. And so we back in the band room. It's just me and Zane and the band director, Mr. Johnson. I have my backpack on, and we didn't know Mr. Johnson was paying attention to us. He was like, look, I saw y'all marching back with the band and y'all drinking these beers and drinking whatever else. Give me a couple of those beer cans. So we sat in the band room with Mr. Johnson. We was getting toe up and stuff. Because I mean, he had to wind down and stuff. But I mean, that's not a funny story. But that is one of the band fought the student population of Kentucky State that day. So
wow.
Man, y'all niggas wild.
But I'm like, shoot, throwing water. If you want another funny, here's a funny story. During the performances, and this was before Mr. Johnson. I think it was Mr. Powell, and actually it was beautiful. It was he would have everybody in a ball in the middle of the field, and he would come out with a 2001 Space Odyssey. Oh my God! If you want to hear the trombones and the tubas with that bass, oh man, that was beautiful. But me and Zane, we were in the middle of that huddle. But to give it that special effect, we had our fire extinguishers to give out the smoke.
Oh,
now, it was a couple of,
wow! You are part of this story.
Hey, me and Zane, we were both buttholes and stuff, but it was dudes that we didn't like. It was dudes we didn't like. We spraying the fire extinguishers in their direction, so they come out uniforms all covered with fire extinguisher stuff, all in their instruments and stuff. So,
oh my goodness!
But nobody would ever say anything to me and Zane. So
yeah, they were scared of y'all.
But I mean, they would come out covered with all of that carbon fiber stuff from the fire extinguisher. So
that's one of the dumbest shows that I've ever heard of in my life. You got everybody choking from the fire extinguisher. That stuff is strong.
Yeah, it's supposed to be for fires, not people.
Right, for fire, not for in the air for people to be breathing.
Hey, did you hear what Bernard said? Wasn't nobody messing with us.
That's what I heard.
Right.
I'm gonna spread next week.
That's what I heard.
Yep.
I'm gonna come back and do it tomorrow. He's gonna go do it again tomorrow.
Here's another story. So we were in Savannah State, and the city of Savannah is beautiful. Where our bus was marching to the stadium. So me and Zane, we had to stay back, make sure everything was cool, tell the bus drivers where you need to park. And then me and Zane had to carry this ladder for the band director. So we marching through the neighborhood, me and Zane marching through the neighborhood with this ladder. So dudes start pulling up, doing all type of gang signs and stuff. And like me and Zane was like, oh, man, we got this ladder. We don't know where the hell, where we are and stuff. And we got to march to this field. Dudes just driving around all type of gang signs. I'm like, oh shit, we about to get lit up because we ain't going out like that and stuff.
Some bus with this ladder.
Man, now Mr. Johnson used to put us in all type of predicaments. Now, one more story, and then y'all can move on. We were Easter break. Hey, I got a million. Easter break. Easter break is me and Zane, other band members. We drinking, carrying on and stuff. two of the band members, and like I say, I'm not gonna give any names on this one.
You've been throwing Zane name out there the whole time. Why you
Right.
give up the other ones?
These two,
He been dropping on, ain't he? He been dropping.
I guess Zane should hear his side of the story now.
These two band members decided to write an extortion letter to the band director at the time. Now, God rest his soul, one of them passed away. And we know you messing around with so-and-so, you know, give us some money for our scholarship.
Do we
so
know
ain't
him?
putting no name.
Well, we know one died.
I feel like we know him.
We know that one died. So y'all
JS.
Hold on. Let me. So, like I said, at this point, me and Zane were walking them campus. Only two people on campus. The supposed person the band director was messing around with saw us. So we was like, "Hey, what's up?" So she just, So I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with her?" So we see the two dudes because we hanging out. And they was like, they started laughing. It's like, yo, man, we wrote this letter to the band director saying, we know who you messing around with. If you don't give us such and such money for scholarship, we gonna tell the president. I'm like, yeah, sorry. So this girl thought that we sent them. Like, why would we send this letter? Damn, I'm about to say his name. Mr. Band Director, why would we get this letter when we already know you messing around with it? We done protected you a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I have one more story, and this is it. Now, this is probably the funniest.
Extortion.
So the practice field was being worked on. We're behind, I forget whatever the building. The band director's on the scaffold. He's conducting the band. He ain't had no drawers on, right? So his thing is conducting too. Hold on. So it is like conducting too. He up here.
Do that again. Demonstrate again. What was it doing? For the audience, the ladies might need to see what it was doing.
Y'all know. So his lower body part was directing the band. And the ladies in the band was like, Bernard, please tell the band director what he. So we was like, we was like, man, hey, you got to slow down and stuff because your stuff is directing the band. I'm done.
Reggie,
I'm done.
That story about the parts directing reminded me of a story of Mr. Greer from 9th grade. This was back when I played clarinet. I don't remember what was going on that day, but I know he had on gray jogging pants. And something happened, and the music made him real excited. He jumped up. And I noticed what jumped up as a 14-year-old girl. And I was just like, and I instantly got embarrassed. But I still remember that. And as an adult woman, I know why I felt embarrassed. But that story just took me back to that memory.
Y'all are too much right now, man. Hey, like, hey, y'all, you definitely said don't hold back. He didn't hold back.
We heard extortion. We heard assault.
Hey. Extortion.
Assault.
Gang time. Hey. The meter on this podcast was like this. The meter was like this. And then that one just took off.
Hey, man, I feel like we're talking to Bumpy Face over here, man.
What else did he talk about?
American Gangster.
Bernard, do you have a church home?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Do you have a church home? I'm just trying to take us to the opposite side of the spectrum now. Please tell us you're a reformed gangster or something.
Oh, man. No, man, I love it. I love it.
Like, no, I'm still Bernard. You know, I'm
look, I'll just say this, and these brothers can attest. Like I said, and I tell you that I'm introverted and I'm shy, but if we all hanging out, we gonna have a good time.
Absolutely,
we will have a good time because the shyness it ain't there anymore and stuff.
Shy?
So
you? I don't.
So no, because I love my band family. And I first time I came down to K-State and it's been a while, 2017. You know, brothers don't know who I am and stuff. So I'm just paying attention to everything and stuff. They get They're at the practice field. They're parking where they're not supposed to park. Mr. Level comes down, start fussing at band alumni, which is KK side. They acting the fool. And I'm just looking at them like, dog, what are y'all doing? But they don't know who I am yet. And then we get down the next day at the tailgate. Oh, dang, bro, I didn't know that was like, yeah, y'all acted some asses. But, let's have a good time. Forget all it, because, at that point, I thought the band director should have had more decorum in the way he, because originally, I had a problem with Mr. Level at first, because like, dude, this is not how you talk to people and stuff. But found out why. So I'm like, all right. So, but yeah, you hang out with me and whoever, we gonna have a good time. So make sure you have your bail money with you.
So I feel like this goes back to what Flo asked earlier. Have you changed from your college days to now? And Bernard definitely said a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just I like I said, for me, I'm more, I like to have a good time.
Don't mess with BG.
I like to have, and I want everybody to have a good time. Just be disciplined with having a good time. You can't do, because I don't want to bail anybody out of jail.
Right.
So,
You also made a connection between something about our 5th grade or our 5-year-old selves being who we are or something. There was a connection you made, but it made me think of this statement that I use a lot where I say, I think that people's personalities, when they've developed to who you are right around middle school, that's usually who you are. I don't think you change too much from that.
Your personality is developed at 2 years old.
Okay.
It's developed at 2 years old. You are now actually, when you say terrible twos, your personality is that's you. That's who you are at 2 years old, 3 years old. And then as you start socializing, I can get away with this. I can't get away with this. But that's at 5 years old. But that personality is developed at 2 or 3 years old. And as you always hear, this person, this baby's in this terrible twos. No. This is who this baby is right now. And, some behaviors can be, I don't want to say altered or corrected, but it can, you got to have positive and negative influences in order for a child to grow. And even, because as we come into adulthood, we know what our dislikes are. We know what our likes are.
Right.
And that starts at 2-3 years old when we're becoming more independent.
Well, a lot of behaviors that we have right now, those are learned behaviors that we pick up from other people's, whether it be a good influence or bad influence. It's all about who's around you, like you just said. Mm-hmm. So those terrible twos can be terrible, but it shows you that this kid is not going to take no stuff, or this kid is going to take a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. If this kid is terrible, most likely this kid is going to be the one that's going to be your president one day. I mean, terrible don't necessarily mean that it's going to be a problem. That just means they're more expressive and more emotional.
Because you have to remember, during that age, that is the smartest period in our lives. As a baby, as a toddler, that is the smartest period of our lives, because we're absorbing so much, and we have no fear factor. Mm-hmm. As opposed as when we start getting older, we're getting more set in our ways. But intelligence grows at that age. So.
Mm-hmm. Good thoughts. We're having some good conversation here. I had something else I wanted to add to piggyback off of that, but I lost my train of thought. But here it is. So I was gonna say, Reggie, you let me know if you agree with this. I feel like the vast majority of students that are classified as bad, I think probably have like misdirected leadership skills. I refer to them as the students with strong leadership skills, the ones that are bad. And those are the ones that when I was in the classroom, I would usually pull them to do things for me, because I felt like if I could corral their attention, I could get the rest of the class. What do you think about that?
It's a lot that goes on with that when you start talking about the teaching part of it, saying, because my first question is always, saying, what's the behavior and why is the behavior happening? And so in order to get to the solution, you have to understand the why the behavior is happening. That particular child, usually those particular students are ADHD, ADD, or something that's going on, or just hyperattention, whatever it may be, right? They think differently. What happens in our world is that we label people as typical, and we want people to do it the way that we do it. But everybody it's not wired the same way. You see what I'm saying? So you can't say you're going to act like Reggie. I need you to act like me. And that's where people get frustrated from. So with that particular student, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find out what that particular student dislike, and how that particular student is thinking. Now I can put in those spaces, right, where when we're over here, I can add those spaces to them at another spot, compared to trying to add that space to where I need them to be, where we at that space. It's not that they can't do it or won't do it. It's just in that space at that time, it's just not how they're wired. So understanding how someone's wired and then focus on that and work with that, you'll be able to get to what you know. So that's what you're doing when you say you pulled them to the side seat. You took them out of that normal space and you created a space just for them. And now once they're in that space with you, now everybody else is in that same space together and riding that chain together. So that's what I think about it.
Let me piggyback off of Reggie. So just a little background. I was a board president of a charter school system for 10 years, or maybe about 9 years. I was on the board for 12 years and president for 9 years. And what I come to learn, and a little bit, because my oldest son, he's high functioning autistic, and on the school, and it became my focus to learn more about kids and how to learn. So every child is a leader. Now, what teachers don't understand, and this really pissed me off, and if you guys can research Carol Dweck and Eric Jensen. It's our job, or as educators, your job as educators, to pull that child's motivation out. We can't motivate anybody. People are naturally motivated. We have to pull that up out of them. And the education system, it's not. It's one size fits all. You have to teach each child as an individual. And when you teach each child as an individual, your scores will go up. They'll come because you don't know what's going on. So you have to look at each child. So a small classroom setting, even if it's 30, I'll go as high as 40. Teachers can do that, but it's a lot of that political stuff that prevents you from doing that. Find out what this child likes. If a child is more, let's say if you teach math and a child is more likes art, well, find things within math that will help this child with, and you can have him do, because art is math. Music is liquid math.
Yep.
You find what makes that child, and if you can do that, but teachers don't, and there's nothing wrong with the teachers not knowing, because they go to school and they learn this is how to be a teacher. You teach this, and how that, whatever the curriculum that you have to use, you have to do that with the child. And then that's where the education system fails, because you're not teaching the individual child. Right. You don't have the time to actually do that. But if you can, that's more apt to art, find a way to show him how math works with art. And then you'll see that, oh, he can start doing this, the math. Or if history, because I remember being in at the school that I was president over, at one of their little seminars, and one of the teachers asked, "Well, this student is giving me problems because he doesn't understand his English class. He doesn't understand the English, the language arts now. Doesn't understand. He's good at this. I can't say anything because my job is not to say anything. But anyway, that's why I got kicked off the board, because I did say something at one point. But you have to reach this child. If he's good at this, show him how history, art, or whatever the case may be, works with language arts or works with math. And then you'll have a productive student, because the kids want to learn. I don't care. You can have the most thuggish, rugged kids, and they want to learn.
I had one like that. This boy would be standing up on the tables holding his cell phone like it was a gun. By the end of the school year, I pulled him together. I'm like, listen, but I remember telling him, what was that? Oh, my bad. I bumped my phone. I'm like, what's that playing? But I told him, I said, listen, he thought for his, I was picking on him. And I said, no, I'm not picking on you. I call you to do things. I call you to lead discussions because your peers follow you. They listen to you. And if I can get your attention, I can reach them. And when I explained it to him like that, he went, oh, okay. I said, so no, I'm not.
Exactly. But the problem is you're that teacher, but then the next class they go to, that's not that teacher. So now that just, or then, and then when they get home, because, and I'm going to say this, mamas and daddies ain't shit. There is no way. The principal had me crying one time. This parent told his daughter, you will never be shit. I'm like, why would you tell a child? Why would you tell your child? It is your job as a parent. If you're not shit at this time, make sure that your child is not. They're going to keep the child down there. Like, so you're battling so many different things, but they need positive teachers like you and Reggie. So that sticks in the back of their mind. And I've told students, I was like, look, here's the reality of stuff. Because I always had a good relationship with my son's friends and the kids. I made sure that is that, you know what, your life may be messed up right now, but when you graduate from high school, it is your opportunity to get away from the experiences that you have now, the situations that you have now. If it be it military, going to college, you're going to have to sit here and deal with this for a minute. But as soon as you turn 8, it is your job. It is your option to do that. Don't listen to that other BS for them. You don't have to. I know that's your mama. I know that's your daddy. But sometimes, you can love them unconditionally, but it's all about you now. It is all about you. Be selfish. Be selfish and do what you got to do to live your life. So
this is a topic we can go on and on about, because I'm very passionate about my students. But we're at the point now where you need to build your perfect band. Go ahead, Reggie, elaborate on that.
All right. Building your perfect band. Now you done been around the marching band, you've been around K-State marching band and all that kind of stuff. Building your perfect band from your band director all the way back to the percussion. What school will you get them from? What section would they be? Build your perfect marching band. If it's all K-State, then it's all K-State. If you want to get your tubas from South Carolina State or wherever, if you want to get them from the Army or wherever, build your perfect band. Who is your band director, drum majors, dancing girls, auxiliary, trumpets, whatever, all the way back to the back.
You want me to build a Burford?
Yep.
That's your assignment. I'm going to say this: the perfect marching band we had when I was at K-State. And I'd always mention my brother Zanus. Zanus and I, as bandman, we had the perfect seat, and we learned how to listen. I could literally hear each and every instrument play in the band, and with us, we had the clarinets, we had the flutes, and you can't hear a flute play, but during that time, oh my God, if we had that type of band, now, that would, because we were voted the most versatile band in the country during that time under Mr. Johnson, or Dr. Johnson now. You had, and it was, the harmony was there. You had the tubas, the trombones were the most. When you can hear that train coming down the street from the trombones, awesome. You had the baritones, you had the mellophones, then you had the trumpets, you had the saxophones, the clarinets, and then the flutes. We had a concert band, but playing marching band, and it was so, the sound was, they didn't overplay, they never overplayed, and the sound was beautiful. We could get back to that, but of course we also had, during the winter semester, we had concert band, and at K-State during that time we traveled. Now that's my marching band is okay. I'm a concert guy. I love concert music. If y'all ever ride with me, you're gonna hear sounds from the Baroque period. You're gonna hear sounds from the Romantic period, or the classical period. So the concert band, oh my God, we traveled from literally from February to March across the southern states, playing concert band with Dr. Shelton and Mr. Johnson. That band was the same band for marching season. That band is what made K-State the most versatile band in the country during that time. If we played like that now with the drum majors we have now, man, excuse me, F Jackson State or Florida State, couldn't nobody play better than us during that time.
I like that energy.
I am dead serious. Couldn't nobody mess with us during that time. So we have that same, that same, and please, and no disrespect from the past band director. He came from that environment where you play loud. This is nothing but marching band. Kentucky State is known for marching band and concert band. So that, if we can get back to that band, you guys our band would be awesome. And like I say, no disrespect from anybody, but just marching band is just simple stuff. If you want kids, and especially if you're music majors, if you want kids to learn how to play music, concert band, they need to learn the mechanics of music, and that's through concert band. Marching band is just like the two-step. And like I said, no disrespect from from that, because this is when you football, you gotta have a pep band, you gotta have that. But our band was known during pep season, or especially with Central State, we're playing technical pieces that these dudes would have to sit down because they can't compete with us on that. So that would be my perfect band. If we could get back, I don't know if you guys ever heard the Star Spangled Banner played when Dr. Shelton was leading it. Oh my God, you would have dudes crying in the stands. People were crying in the stands because that piece was so beautiful. When we had played at the Indianapolis games, Dr. Shelton, man, you'd have the fans just literally crying because of the way we played the Star Spangled Banner. So if we can get back to that, that would be. So, yeah, just not all that loud.
But brother Bernard,
yeah,
we really appreciate you, man, jumping on this podcast. I'm gonna go back a little bit when you was talking about that parent saying that their child ain't shit. It brought me back to one of my favorite movies and my favorite scene. So I want to do one of her things. Since he wanted to be an actor, I'm gonna put on my acting skills right now.
Mm-hmm.
you ain't gonna be shit, cause I ain't shit.
What movie is that from?
Come on now, you
Boy,
don't
got the
know.
5 heartbeats going down, huh?
Oh,
That's a my heart. Yeah, why you have to say that to that boy? I just want him to be better than me. But listen, man, that's one. I want to also, man, give you your flowers on this side of the dirt, man, because you're one of those brothers, man, for especially for our chapter, that is that glue. You know what I'm saying? When I say glue, you're that person that's keeping that picnic going and you know what I'm saying, the tailgate going and stuff like that. That's one time that we know that we're all able to get back together and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's brothers and sorors and things like that. And it's getting bigger and bigger. I see each year, you know what I mean? And it's a wonderful thing. So I want to say, you know, thank you for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know the troubles that you go through and everything, putting it together and keeping it together, and the money that you go through and the arguments that you have with your wife about it and everything.
Brother,
but
it's my
definitely
wife. And that oh my God, she gets on me about that. But thank you. You know
absolutely.
how y'all women.
Listen, people that's out there, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? If you enjoyed this podcast right here, definitely. Hey, listen, go ahead and donate too, because it costs
I
money
enjoyed
to run
myself,
these things
y'all.
right here.
I enjoyed
That's
myself.
what's up.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's what's right. Now, do you have any thing you want to shout out? Anything like that? You want to shout out your business or anything like that? Where can the people find you at now?
Shoot, look up Bernard Jeter on Facebook, Instagram, shoot, any other social media thing, or my website is jeterfinancialservices.com. Man, I'm here to work with you. I'm here to grow your assets, protect your assets. So hit me up.
There you go.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Also,
That's
just
what's
before
up.
we
All
sign
right,
off,
people, it's a joy.
What was you gonna say, Flo, before you sign off?
Oh, just before we sign off, I wanted to shout out one of our local sponsors, Love Potion and Twisted Spirits. She sent me this beautiful shot glass with her logo on it, and I wanted to shout her out. Hopefully she'll be, if we ever do a show locally in Detroit, she'll be able to sponsor us with some bourbon and some drinks and all those fancy things, you know.
All right, cool. That's what's up. Yeah, fancy. Peace, guys.